Okay, I want to begin by thanking you for purchasing a twin otter, and I'm going to try and show you what I think is the best way of getting this put together. And we got a couple different kits, whether you have the float kit or the wheel ski kit. I'm going to show you how to put both of those together and hopefully make it look as easy as possible. I've got all the parts popped out, and something you need to take in consideration is to take your time doing that. You might turn the puzzle upside down and find where the pop out piece is, and just take your knife, and I use a utility knife. Sometimes on the smaller pieces we'll use an X-Acto, and just a little bit of pressure, pop those pieces out, being careful. So we're going to find parts number 1, 2, and 3, and this being 1, 2, and 3. We're going to set those in. This has a mark that says top dead center on it, so got to make sure that it is up. This part is going to go right on there. We're going to take our side pieces, and I'm not very good about giving you part numbers, but hopefully you can see what we're doing. And I'm going to try and speed through this so it doesn't take forever. And you may find other ways of putting this together that you think are easier, and it could very well be. So, okay, we're snapping these pieces in on the sides, and this could take a little bit of a lining right in here. So if we push that down, and that should snap in. And that side's in, and over here we're going to push that up and get that side in. Okay, and we're not going to worry about that a whole lot until we get everything else put together. So we got that front section put together, and we're going to slip the wing assembly on here. And that goes in something like that. I found it pretty handy to have a rubber band laying around, maybe a piece of tape, and with a rubber band I can take and grab a hold of this section right here, and it won't get away from us when we're working on the back end. Okay, so we got that, and we're going to come to this back section. Hopefully you can see this, and I'm going to attach these rear tabs and stick all that together. And it's not quite wanting to hold together yet. You are going to need glue on some of these parts. This section we're not going to need to worry about that, because our tail assembly, which I have put together already. And if you noticed, I got the engraving of your flaps down because I like to hang these planes and show them off that way. Same with the horizontal stabilizer. We're going to put flaps down so you can see them when it's flying. Okay, so what we have here is a section back here. Something to keep in consideration: without the engines really being having any weight to them, the plane does not want to sit on its wheels. So to add some weight, I'd like to grab up some threaded nuts and slip them in the back section here, and we can slide them in. We'll get to that here a little bit later, but just warning you, this is where you're going to want to add weight. So you might want to consider holding off on putting this together until later, but it's all just a matter of aligning. You can see on the bottom side you got a little groove there that you got to align, as well as on the top. It's going to slide in and lock into that notch on the front. Okay, this piece, one at a time, slide it in there, you know, one piece at a time. I don't have one of those here right now, but real simple, just slides in that groove with your etching on the outside. Okay, so we got that put together. Let's move on up here to the front section again, and I don't know if there's a number for that piece, but 8 and 9, yeah, we're somewhere in that number 8 or 9, and we're gonna, you may want to put it on the bottom, on the top. I believe that putting this into the side is the easiest, and it is not the easiest piece to get in there, but it will go. Okay, so we got one, and making sure that's aligned over there. I'll try and get this in here where you can see it, and I'm going to bring it over, snap in the bottom, got the top, so we just need to get this side over here, and we got all 4 sides. These little guys are going to pop out and slip right in here. Okay, to get the front connection first is probably the best. That way you know it's going on there straight. And there we go. That one's on. And I'm squeezing all this together. See, that wants to pop out. And this is going to need glue. There's just no way we can bend this wood and not have to put a drop of glue to it. So there's that. And in your kit you're going to find a clamp, and with a little bit of pressure all the way around, that's going to go in or on, and I'm going to push it up here, and hopefully that's going to stay for us, at least until we can put some glue on all those joints. Okay, we can go right to this section. We got a little nose cone. There's 4 pieces to it, I guess there's 5 pieces, and whether you use all 5 or not, it's kind of up to you. I'd like the looks of it with just the 4 pieces. And that's going to go on, and it's going to take a drop of glue as well. That could fall off before the end of our little video here, but just showing you what that's going to look like. Okay, let's go ahead and move to the landing gear, and this is the assembly that we're going to be putting together. And I'm going to take it apart. Sometimes you seeing what they're supposed to look like put together makes it easier to for you to put it together if I show you what it looks like put together here. So bear with me a minute. Okay, so we're going to take these pieces, and we got our wider one, and it is going to go into these grooves on the side of the fuselage, and we're just going to stack those and insert them into that receiving holes. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. And then we have these pieces, and you see we got receiving notches here. The two that do not have receiving notches are going to be on our outsides. So it is going to go in, and we're going to slide it over to the one side, and then the pieces with the receiving notches, we're going to stack them in there. 3 of them. And you can see how, because the laser cuts that edge, it leaves for a little bit of a burn mark, and it's going to get your plane dirty. So to clean this, whether it's with your hand or a cloth, piece of sandpaper, you will keep your model clean if you clean that before you slide it in. And remember, got to align these. It is a precision fit. And there is what our assembly looks like when it's completed. Okay, on the back side, we're going to find this part. I'm not exactly sure what number that is. Looks like that's part 10. Yeah, part number 10 is going to come in here, and I don't know if you can see it. And it slides in there, making sure all of these pieces must be parts, guessing those were part 9 or, oh, that's T 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to make our T assembly is what we call that. And we gotta turn it over and do the same thing. And because I have this one assembled already, I'm hoping I can align that and set it in, and it did. And there we go. Got lucky on that. And if we align and slip that in. So I'm giving this some up pressure. There it goes. They all have to be flat, straight, and aligned, and that'll slip in a little drop of glue right along those edges, and that will be done and won't give you any trouble. So we're getting pretty close to an assembled fuselage. I'm going to pull out the engine parts, and they are labeled with 1 through 7, and number 4 being the center. We've got this little piece and 2 little connector guys. Those are all going to be parts E. just get those all set out, and we're going to slide on number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So number 5 has a notch for our strut coming off our T assembly. Number 6 has a notch to receive that strut, and number 7. So we get that put together, and we can put on our parts T9 or E9, I'm sorry, to finish off this engine. And give that a push, and that's what we got. A little drop of glue, and your engine assembly would be done. So I'm going to set that to the side and pull this one out and show you what it looks like with our propeller on there. We got 5 pieces to our propeller assembly, and they get stacked on there. A drop of glue, and that'll do that. Okay, so this one, we have our receiving notches for our strut on the right hand side, and you also see that the number 4, which is the centerpiece, is going to align into the groove on the wing. So we're going to put it up and then align everything, giving up pressure from the bottom, making sure that it's all flat and aligned, and we're going to just slide it in, making sure everything's aligned, and there it is. Okay, and same thing with the right side of the motor. It has that receiving notch on the left side for the strut, and you can put that together either way. It's all reversible. Just make sure you got it right before you put any glue to it. And it's the same thing, just sliding it in and aligning, and there that is. It's on nice and tight. So hopefully this won't be falling apart. I don't have any glue on any of that. We can now turn it up where you can see a little bit in there, and I'm going to grab one of our struts. It's going to go inside the T-notch, okay, and a little bit of pressure on the wing allows that to slide over and go inside that receiving notch. And reverse it over on the other side. Slip that in. A little bit of down pressure, and there it is. Okay, so we got that done. We can talk about our wheel assembly, and real simple. There's a couple pieces, narrow ones for our wheel assembly, and then there's a couple wider ones. If you have the wheel ski kit, you're going to use the longer ones on the wheel skis and the shorter ones for just the wheels. That's the way it looks. Pop those pieces out, stack them on there, and that's gonna just slip inside each other. And if you're planning on leaving it on wheels, then you would maybe put a drop of glue right on there. Alright, this part will just slide right into that one, and we're going to insert it onto our T assembly. And I got another one over here that has not assembled quite yet, but there it is, right in there. A little bit of glue, and these center ones will spin where the outside ones won't. And it's going to go right in there. Our front wheel, a little bit more involved. We got a little spindle that has to go through the center of it, but it's a real simple operation. 3 pieces to the wheel, and the center one's going to spin, and everything gets connected, and it's going to go in here. And that's probably a good place for a drop of glue to keep that on there. So we have a assembled plane here. I think the only thing we haven't discussed is the windshield. And as you can see, it's not going to sit on its wheels. So that's where I was saying, if you pull the tail assembly off, add some weight to it, it'll sit. Or we're going to have a hanging piece that will go in here, and you can change your pitch and your level. So that's really the entire part of the wheel kit. And we've got a windshield that's gonna snap in right there. This one's not snapping in, but we're gonna fix that too. So yours will snap in. Whether you want to put a drop of glue on that or not is another thing. So I'm gonna take this one, I'm gonna set it aside and bring over another plane that has a float kit set up to it. Okay, and really the only difference between that is it has these receiving holes and a few different parts that are going to allow us to grab some floats. So the only difference really are these parts, which need to go inside the T-assembly first. It's going to slide up, and we're going to connect these and there, and do the same thing on the other side. And everything has to get aligned. And what's going on? That's not going all the way in. So, for one reason or another, it's not wanting to reach on the back, but with a little bit of a twist, a push and a pull, there it is. Okay. Drop of glue would probably be a good idea right on these pieces. Couple different glues that I'd recommend. Gorilla Super Glue is one of them. And then I have a 2B10, 2P10. This is the thin set, but there's also a medium set, which I like better. It's about a 30-second set time, and works real good. Okay, so there we are. We're ready to receive our floats. I'm going to try and show you how to put together these floats, and they are pretty simple setup with these parts popped out. Your centerpiece is always going to be your first one, and where are we at? We're missing one piece. Here it is, and we can set that in there, set that in there, and bring these up, and get those connecting holes on the side of your float is really the tough part. Nope, that's not wanting to stay on there. So hopefully this isn't going to be a booger, but it does go together. Okay, so our top piece in the front of your float is going to go in here, and come down, and we've just got to get this guy on here, and the top and bottom going in, and align and snap in, and there that is. A drop of glue right in there, and you got it. Okay, we're going to move to the back, and this piece is going to connect in here, and we're going to do the same thing over here. Get that top and bottom on first, and there it is. We got all those. Put a little bit of glue on there, and you got it. Okay, we've got some pieces here that we'll have to get attached, so we can put a little bit of down pressure on this top piece to allow that to slide in. Okay, just like that. This back one is just a connector. It's not going to hold these cross members. Okay, do that. Do the same thing on the opposite side, and it all goes together. I like to once it gets put together, put a piece of tape across there that holds it all together while it clamps and stays aligned. But I'm going to move these off and show you what we got for an assembled set of floats that don't have any glue on them, except for on these cross members, just so we can hold it together while we're putting it on our plane. So if you can see, we've got these attaching hooks, and on our float assembly we got these grooves right here. Those are going to go inside of our front hooks. I'm tipping that plane over, and then I'm going to hook, and I'm going to bring it down and hook on this side. And slip that in, and there you go. We got our float kit. I know it looks a little scrappy with the rubber bands, but I didn't know how many times I was going to have to do this and to glue it up and try to disassemble and glue up. It's going to be a tough deal for everybody. So anyhow, I hope I made this as clear as I could, and I want you to enjoy these things. I'm looking, I see that I've got a wheel ski kit, wheel skis here that we haven't talked about. They are, the wheels are the same wheels that you're going to use for, there's only one set of wheels, I guess I should say. But these are going to come apart like that. This is going to come out, and on these skis we're going to bring these out to the sides, and then they'll come off. Okay, so it's a hook on the front and twist over. Hook on the front and twist over. And then you'll have to slip these in. And maybe you don't want to put that top one on first. There's different ways you can do all of this assembly. I'm showing you one way, but however you do it, just have some patience and remember you have to align these things. We're going to slip that over and in. That comes across, and this is going to go on. Actually, that's not going to go that way. It's got to go that way. I had to turn that 90 degrees so that our stanchion on this side will come up and grab. Okay, the center section is very similar. It just has a spindle going through the front, and real easy. So anyhow, I hope you enjoy this. Hang it up, and hopefully it brings back some fond memories. All right, thank you. Enjoy.